Hola mi loca. So on the last video I talked about ghosts and cameras and my little theory, scientific theory on how we see it on cameras, because yes, I believe in both. I am a school forensic scientist, psychologist, and I am a Christian. So I told you it's like a car exhaust. Real quick, I'm just gonna summarize it up. It's like a car exhaust. You see the little squiggles under a car, that little, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a little circle at the bottom of a car, the end, the back, the bottom, whatever. And basically when you start your car, or if you're behind a really fast car like a Ferrari and then they hit their thing, it might melt the front of your car. It's the heat, it's the exhaust that comes out. So a lot of times you can see the shadows of it, but you can't actually see the exhaust unless it's like one of those dirty trucks. Then you see a big old brown puff. Which usually when I see those trucks, I switch from outer to inner on my AC in my car. Anyway, so that's basically, how I pictured it. It's like some smoke. When getting on camera, you cannot see the actual smoke. But a lot of times you can make, especially when it's a bigger, spread out puff of smoke. Like when you're hotboxing, you can't get your hotbox on camera, right? But you can see it. But sometimes if you get just the right angle with the right lighting, you will see a little wave, or you can see shadows if there's a good, if you're outside and it goes up. Sometimes I can't get a picture, but I get a big old ball on the sidewalk in my shots. But that's, same thing. It creates more of a shadow, because for some reason the light is still having a little, it's not clear. The light that's going towards it is not clear enough to go through to hit the object on the other side. So if there's a ghost passing, it's going to create a muffled shadow or something, and the sun is like, we're not powerful enough to go through all this, so we're a little dingy over here, or it creates a shadow. So when it comes to our energy, take of this remote as an example. You got remotes, right? I throw this remote and it breaks, right? Everything breaks off, but guess what still isn't broken? The batteries. The batteries I can just take, get my other remote, and just hippity-da-doo-da, put them in here. And there we go. But our energy as humans isn't like that per se, except for our energy is still good. Our souls are still good. However you want to say it. But what happens to the electric energy when we die? Like how we're water and energy. What happens to that energy? Well, most of the time it just stays there. Good energy, bad energy, it stays there. So when you have people who are more open-minded, I don't believe in witches or all that, just like I don't believe in the tooth fairy, don't come at me. It's just like you go further away from God and more into Satan when you use those specific titles. You may say you're more drawn and you have, you're more openness, but don't call yourself a witch. It's like, just draws yourself away and into the dark. No matter if you think you're a white witch or you only do good, or it's still, a witch is a witch and it is still evil. So never even refer to yourself as anything. Just say that, you can feel more. You have more of an open-minded. Sometimes if you just relax, kind of brush your arms through an area, you could either feel a little tingle in your hand, almost an electric shock, like somebody shocked you, or the temperature changes. And that happens when it's energy just been sitting there for a long time. And people, they do history, they do research and history on all the places where they go, where they've been. But when you contact something, it's never good. The devil, the demons, they can disguise themselves as anything and everyone. And to get in, they are going to go to the most vulnerable. For example, those who recently lost somebody. And they're going to disguise themselves as that. And not really them disguising. That's your mind wanting to see. And that is when you could see it and you start engaging with it. Because even if it looks like your great aunt who passed away 3 years ago from leukemia, mine did, that's what I'm using as an example, it's not her. It's something evil. It was never something part of this world. Because once a human departs, that's it. Their soul or their spirit can go wherever you believe they go, but the human body and the mind is no longer here on earth, is not trapped, and it cannot do anything and will not do anything and contact you. And if you see them, it's not them. They don't have that ability, that power. They can't, but what you see, no matter who you talk to, what you think you're talking to, it's not. It is a demon. Because they're the only ones that can have the power to taint you. And to shape shift or whatever you believe in. It all kind of falls into the same thing, just whatever you call it. You just gotta be careful. I don't do ghost hunting no more. Because after the last thing I went when I was at the graveyard on my live, I got some gifts. That was nice on my live TikTok, but I kept hearing footsteps the whole time around me, and I was talking to them. But that is why, because it's not them. And once you talk to them and start opening the door, honey, that door probably never be closed again. Cleansing, exorcisms, going to do house cleanings, getting rid of the spirits, bathings, washings, all of that. That's the same thing. It's still opening that door, that window, that portal, that whatever. And really it's what you believe in and what you do with that belief is going to open the door. If your culture, whatever, says, do not have this mirror facing the other mirror, and you do it and it's like, oh my God, something's probably here. Now something's going to be here. But if like, oh, it's no big deal, nothing's going to be there because those thoughts ain't going to be there. It's all about, when they say manifest is a huge, even in my psychology class, we talk about manifestation a lot. It does have a huge effect on your life. Even if you're unconsciously doing it. Like, oh my God, I stepped on a ladder. I stepped under a ladder. Oh, now I'm going to have bad luck all day. Okay, well, all day you're going to be paranoid and say you're like watching because you're like, oh, I don't want this dog to get me because I stepped on a ladder and that means it might be bad. But then you're not paying attention to that dog or whatever you're scared over here. You're not paying attention behind you and you're going to bump into somebody. Paint's going to fall over you. hot coffee gonna fall over you, and you're like, oh, that's because I slept under a ladder. No, it's because you were paranoid about something else, worrying about the ladder, that you weren't even focused on this, and you spilled hot coffee all over you. I mean, and that's just a ripple effect on what the mind can play. So manifestation is good. And you think about you smiling because you're like, oh, I found a lucky penny. That means it's gonna be my lucky day. So you're smiling, having a good day. Somebody sits there like, hey, that looks like a good person. Hey, I'm gonna buy that person a drink. Like, say you're at Starbucks or something, because it happens all the time. Or somebody gonna buy you a drink if you're just moping, you're just mad. No. You're like, oh, she looks like she deserves it. I mean, in your attitude, the way you act and look, not look physically, but look as in, you know, just a difference. And it's gonna affect the way things happen too. It's manifest. But anyway, I just wanted to, talk a little bit about that, but, just don't even get involved. I mean, yeah, we have those intrusive thoughts like, oh my God, it broke me here 7 years of bad luck, but nah. You just forget about it later and it's all fine. I mean, just don't get too paranoid in it or involved in it or be like, oh, I'm a witch. Because that's not something that you want to be. It's not something that you should call yourself, because once you call that self, you're making it known, good or bad, white or black, witch. Sorry, not like the color of your skin. I'm talking about like how people call a white witch, black witch, green witch. Those, it doesn't matter which one you call yourself. It's all still involved with Satan and all the way from God, because he's like, okay, you a witch? Alright, bye. You don't want that? Saying he wants that. He wants that because he's like, I already got a little bit of her. Let me try to get the rest. Just think. And it's not trying to be religious. It's just like in any way, like the demons or whatever you think. Like, because if you believe in witches and all this stuff, then you have to believe in it all. I mean, it's not just be like, oh, I just believe in this, but I don't believe in all this other stuff. Or I believe in fairies and nature and witches, but oh, I don't believe in God. It's like, so how you think any of this stuff's gonna work? But it's like, where do you think that stuff came from? I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure the only person that can do witchcraft or anything is Jesus. Then he turned like one fish that fed like how many people? He made a blind man see again. He split the ocean or the sea. Like, pretty magic to me. But people don't want to do it all. They like to, what my grandma liked to call, half-ass things. But I guess that's why it's scary for y'all, or dangerous for y'all, because y'all know y'all shouldn't be doing it to me. I'm not scared. And I hate when people are like, oh, you should be afraid, you should be this. No, you should be afraid calling yourself a witch. And this and actually doing it. I don't care if you're a white witch or a good witch. You the one that should be afraid, okay? I'm not the one doing it. You can try to cast a spell, a hex, or whatever on me. Well, guess what? It's gonna go right back on you, because I don't accept it. And I'm not afraid of it, so it's not gonna work. Bad things happen, good things happen to everybody. It's called life, not voodoo. And really, that I can't have conversations with people like that, because they just get all literally weird. It's like everything is about that all the time. And it's like, bro, let's just have a regular conversation. And they're always just trying to do something or be like, if you do this, I'm gonna make them fall. I'm gonna catch a hex on them or cast a spell on them. I'm just like, okay, like, what's that gonna do? You can say words, you can do things. It's not gonna work. Anyway, sorry to get off topic, but I just wanted to say that. Bye.